Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be sharing how I refinished this solid wood dresser we got off Craigslist for $120 without stripping it. As many of you know, we are expecting a baby in the next month or so, and stripping it with toxic chemicals was just not an option. I love the bones of this dresser when I saw it on Craigslist. However, I just couldn't see the color working in the baby nursery. Originally, I really wanted something that looked like this or like that. If you don't follow Sean on Instagram, he's an amazing interior designer, so I was really inspired by some of his pieces. To begin with the dresser, I started off by giving it a light sand. I did not do this to completely remove the shine. In fact, it was still shiny. This was just so that the gel stain had a rough surface to stick to. I used 150 grit sandpaper and simply stuck it to my palm and quickly went over the whole dresser. This probably took me about 10 minutes. Next, my little guy helped me remove all the knobs and I was ready to give it some character. Since I was going for that rustic look, I wanted to make it look like it had more like wear and tear to it. So I first used some small rocks and hit the hammer against them to get this effect. Then I kind of played around with different objects, and one of my favorites ended up being a metal chain effect. I did this by moving the metal chain around and beating on it. And lastly, I used a screw and lightly hammered it in to create like small dots in clusters. And here's how it looked once it was done. I did this to the whole dresser. Okay, now that I was done aging it, I was ready to stain. I wiped off all the dust with just a damp cloth and started off with this aged oak gel stain that I had. For this effect, I just used the cheapest brush that I could find at the hardware store and applied the stain in the direction of the wood grain. So after a few attempts, I actually realized that this was not working because it was going on really tacky and it just wouldn't like blend really well. So to help it go on more smooth, I used some regular oil stain in Special Walnut. I applied it in long brush strokes as well, and as you can see, it actually kind of like bubbles and separates right away, so it doesn't stick really well if you just use regular stain. I then wiped it down, and this gave me a nice oily base for the gel stain. If you guys are liking this video so far, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post DIYs like this all the time. Now that I had a good base, I then applied the gel stain, going with the wood grain in small amounts. So not completely saturating the surface with the gel stain. It needs to be kind of see-through. And as you keep brushing kind of in the same area back and forth, it becomes more tacky and it creates a cool wood effect. Once it gets a little bit tacky and I get that cool effect that I'm going for, I leave it at this point and would move on to the next section. I went ahead and repeated these steps to stain the whole dresser. And again, I used the cheapest brushes I could get because I feel like the bristles on them actually help you achieve that cool wood effect. So here's a good example of one of the drawers before and after I applied the stain. The difference in color is actually pretty visible. And I love how that stain settles into all the little nicks. Once I was done staining the dresser, I let it set for a few days outside in the heat, and then it was ready to get sealed. I used a scoring pad to roughen up the surface a little to help the clear finish adhere really well. So my favorite brush of all time for any clear finish is this Project Source brush by Lowe's. It helps you apply the finish with minimal bubbles, and you get this finish that looks like it looks like you sprayed on the clear finish. This brush is amazing. And of course, my favorite clear finish product of all time is the Minwax Polyacrylic in Matte. Nope, this is actually not a sponsored video. I've just tried so many other finishes and brushes, and these products are the only ones that stood the test of time. I went ahead and applied an even coat of the matte finish. I actually didn't even do 2 coats because it was just so hot outside, and because I'm pregnant, I was running out of breath. But even with just 1 coat, look how smooth this finish looks. It looks like it was sprayed on. To complete the look of my dresser, I got these new knobs on Amazon. Since I was going for a vintage rustic vibe, I thought these would be better than the wood. And I gotta say, even though these were kind of expensive, I feel like these knobs definitely make the piece. They add so much character, and the color on the dresser turned out so much better than I was expecting. Here's a quick snippet of what it looked like before. And that's it for this dresser. I learned that if you find a piece of furniture with the right base color, you do not have to strip it. In my opinion, this DIY was definitely a success, and I will be doing this over and over again for sure. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to share this video if you liked it. I'll see you all next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.